Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Built for Us podcast by construction workers, for construction workers. You know me by now, James, JT Motiv, proudly powers Built for Us. Now, have we got a special guest for you? I am absolutely well excited to introduce Russ Payne from the Talking Tradesman. What he does on social media is absolutely incredible. Speaks about a lot of taboo subjects around mental health, and as stuff goes on on the construction sites, which, as we all know, the statistics are very high with suicide and whatnot. This is why we've got Russ on today to speak about what he does to help. Russ, welcome to Built for Us podcast, my friend.
Appreciate it, mate. Thank you for the kind words as well, James. But yeah, thanks for having me on, mate.
Absolute pleasure. So we're going to get straight into it. How did you become? How are you on this podcast now? Where did it all start for you for it to evolve to this?
I got you, mate. I'll condense it as much as I can because it's a long story. But so 2.5 years, 2.5 years I've been doing the Talking Tradesman podcast now, and it started probably 10 years ago with my own mental health journey when I was first made aware that mental health even existed, which was when I went through a divorce. Bit of a rough time mentally for myself. What I then did is I threw myself into education. So I started studying psychology, evolutional psychology, philosophy, Buddhism, all sorts. And It culminated in me doing a BSc honours degree in psychology. Now, whilst I was doing that, I decided I needed to get some experience, and I volunteered for Samaritans. So I did all the training at Samaritans, and I was on the crisis calls for around about 18 months. While I was doing that, I realised there was a huge issue in construction. I was speaking to a lot of people with a construction background. And when I looked into the statistics, mate, I was horrified. So off the back of all of this information, knowledge, learning, I decided I needed to do something directly myself for my industry, for the people like myself. And the idea was floated to do a podcast. And it started off as a passion project, mate. And I had no idea it was going to get as big as it's gotten. But it's been fantastically received. It's had a lot of support from the guests, the listeners, and our sponsors. And I now find myself sat in a high street studio. So it's been a bit of a wild ride, to be fair, James.
And all in 2.5 years as well?
All in 2.5 years, mate. And I still feel like it's only getting started. So, yeah, lots to do.
I totally agree with it's really just getting started. I'd say the topic today is, I would say, why do men? Give me your take on why men in the construction industry, because that's what this is all about, why men suffer in silence. What's your opinion on that, Russ?
Okay, mate. I mean, I'm going to go deep with this one, James, to be fair, because this is probably it's been like a summary of all the conversations that I've had. When I started the podcast, I thought I was really going to struggle to get guests on, particularly to get men to come on and talk, because everyone's heard, haven't they? Men don't talk. Everyone says that. Oh, the problem with men's mental health, they don't talk. The opposite has been the truth for me. Since I've started the podcast, hopefully provided a safe space for men to come and talk. I've been inundated with men that do want to talk. And what that's led me to believe is it's not a problem getting men talking, mate. The problem is that a lot of men feel that there's nobody listening. And
absolutely spot on.
The problem with that, mate, and it's one of the things that I learned at Samaritans, listening is a skill. At the moment, I don't believe amongst ourselves, amongst our peers, amongst, the industry, I don't think there's enough people that A, know how to listen properly, or B, know how to provide the support. If you ask somebody, are you all right, mate? And they say no, there's not enough people out there that know what to do with that. So Correct. What we do is we don't do that. We either don't ask the question, or everyone that gets asked that question feels that if they do say, yes, I'm struggling, that they're not actually going to get any help anyway. So what's the point?
Absolutely. I've had experience myself where I did a talk in February in Germany, and somebody asked me a question, and I said, the one takeaway is, because they said, what if somebody comes over to, I said, the one thing you can do when somebody comes over, is listen. Number one.
Yep.
And I'll tell you for why. I said, because if they've opened up for the very first time, say, and you go, mate, yeah, I will do, but I've just got to do this call. Give me 15, 20 minutes, come back.
Yeah.
That person ain't coming back.
Yeah.
And that person ain't asking for help again, because their brain is going to associate asking for help with being rejected from that person, even though it might not happen the next time, so they won't ask. So all these big health and safety people go, yeah, we've got mental health first aiders and we've got this. I'm telling you, people, 55-year-old Frank going through mental health and addiction ain't going to speak to 19-year-old Jessica because she's a mental health first aider. Ain't going to happen, bro. It's not going to happen.
Do you know what, James? The thing is, and again, to be brutal here, I wish the help was there. I wish the help was coming. It's not. So the reality is nobody's coming to save us, particularly in the construction industry. What we can do to turn it into a positive is help each other. So the average person working in construction, all they need to do, again, a massive problem here, mate. The reason people don't ask if people are struggling or if they're okay is because they feel like if I ask Dave, you're looking a bit down today, mate. Are you okay? And they say, no, mate, actually, I'm really struggling. You know, I've been having all these thoughts, some dark thoughts, blah, blah, blah. The fear there is that if he opens up to me, is that now my responsibility? Is he my responsibility? Is that pressure on me? The truth of that is no, absolutely not. But what we can do is we can learn to listen, and we can learn the basics and what help is out there, so that if somebody does flag that they're struggling, that you at least know to go, well, do you know what, mate? I'm no professional here, but there's the Lighthouse charity, there's Samaritans, there's, you know what I mean? There's Mind, there's some fantastic organisations out there. But a lot of people don't know that they're there, or they don't know how to engage with them if they do know they're there. So to me, I think if we want to make a change, mate, that's what we got to do. We've got to help each other, and we've got to start taking responsibility for each other, and just know, you know, how many people do first aid courses in case somebody injures themselves at work? There should be, in my opinion, the mental health equivalent of that, where we can go, well, let's do a mental health first aid course so we know what to do if somebody is struggling with their mental health in the workplace.
Yeah, of course, 100%. But it comes down to comes down to exactly what you've said. People think they've got to be on, they've got to know it all. They haven't. One is listening, and then two is exactly what you've said. Listen, I ain't got all the answers. I say it all the time, mate, and I say it when people inbox me privately, and it's something that I've maybe only had a little bit of a dealing with, and it's not my forte. I'm just open and honest and say, listen, I'll chat for as long as you need. Talk to me. I haven't got all the answers, and I've got very little experience. However, I do have X, Y, and Z that I know that work. Let's have a chat, and then let's direct you to that. That's all it's doing. You're just directing the people to the right people that can help. Because the trouble is, if you do get people going, right, I suggest this, or you can talk to me, and it doesn't work, people then have in their mind, well, I've tried help, it don't work. No, you've asked the wrong person. You've got to get the right help.
You've asked the wrong person, mate. And unfortunately, again, you know, the building trades is full of a lot of alpha males, a lot of like, we don't talk about our emotions. So again, the worst thing that can happen is somebody opens up and says, yeah, I'm struggling, and they get a response along the lines of, oh, well, do you know what, mate, man up. Or, you know, there's people going through worse, or, do you know what, forget about that, let's go for a beer. Like, these are the kind of, and most of those responses come from people that just don't know what to say. So rather than say nothing, they feel they have to say something, and then they say the wrong thing. And then that, like you just said, James, for a bloke to open up, it takes a lot. So if they open up and then get some form of rejection, they ain't going to do it again.
Never, ever. Not unless the crisis already happened. You see, people are very good at responding in a crisis. Such and such a body's gone off sick through mental health and stuff. He said he could have taken his own life. What can we then do? Do you not think you could have prevented that?
Exactly, mate. Yeah, exactly. Get to the problem before that happens, or give people the tools so they know how to cope with the traumas and the shit that life throws at you, mate. Life ain't easy. You know, there's going to be stuff that comes at everybody. And it's having the tools, having the knowledge to know what to do with that. So there's the construction industry is at crisis, in my opinion, with mental health.
Massively.
The statistics are getting worse and worse. There's more people talking about it. And, I've been one of those people. But I've reached the point now, I think, where having spent a couple of years trying to raise awareness, I've now sort of shifted my focus a little bit. And it's like, right, okay, well, what action can I bring to the table to try and actually make some change?
This is uncanny, because speaking of tools, I forget what I was going to say then. Speaking of tools, I want to delve into your new website.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah.
Your new website is spot on. You've got, so first of all, the colours and everything, it looks incredible. But then you've got like the crisis toolbox. You've got is it the van 5-second reset?
Yeah, 5 minute reset. Yeah,
it's not 5 second, 5 minute reset in the van, which I think is mega. There's one about stress.
Mate, there's absolutely loads. I mean, anyone that's listening here. So it's been in the process for a couple of months. This is being built. And I've got to give a shout out to my web designers, a guy called Mark at the Digital Alchemist. The man is a magician. So he has completely rebuilt my website he went above and beyond what I wanted. What I wanted to do was bring in a free mental health resource hub. Yeah. So somewhere, because again, so many people don't know where to turn.
Yeah.
So something where they could do that. And what Mark has done to the website, it's now been rebuilt. So it's got a huge comprehensive list of loads of mental health resources in terms of charities and places to turn for help. It's got interactive questionnaires and quizzes. So you can go through it and it'll walk you through, are you feeling this way? Have you thought about this? And it's yes or no answers. It's nothing complex. And at the end of that, it will signpost you to the organisations that are best suited to how you're feeling. So if you're going through, addiction problems, it will signpost you to addiction charities and help centres. If you're going through bereavement, gambling, whatever it might be, it's going to signpost you. And then there's a great section on there of blogs, which is just day-to-day learning. There's a great one on there, mate, and it is how to start the conversation. So there's a quick 5-minute read, and it just lets people know how to start that conversation. If you've got a colleague or a mate that looks like they're struggling, how do you approach that conversation? And then what to do, when they say that they are struggling.
Absolutely love that. You see, these are, and rightly so, people that are listening now, this is, and you might be going, guys, great podcast, but I don't suffer with mental health. You know what? Amazing. I'm so happy for you. But what about you go and check out Russ's website? You go through the conversation starter, because you haven't got education around it. So you can, as Russ said before earlier in the podcast, so you can go and help your mate and look after your colleagues. Because again, you might not suffer with it. I believe a lot of people suffer with mental health. 90%, I really do. They just cope with it and mask it in other ways. But if you're one of the lucky ones that doesn't suffer with very little, why don't you educate yourself a little bit so you can go and help the next person? Because in due course, that will then help you massively. And I found as well, it's breeding a positive culture. You see, do you go and do talks on site?
Oh, you do now, mate. Not so. I haven't done talks on site, so I've just probably a couple of months ago I dipped my toes into like public speaking. I was about maybe 6 months ago. So I've done some talks. Mate, do you know what, James? Public speaking was my biggest fear. And to the extent, right, I got married 8 years ago, and I said to my wife at the time, I'm not doing a speech. I didn't do a speech at my own wedding because public speaking was my ultimate fear. And through the course of doing the podcast, meeting some incredible people, I got asked to do one talk. If I'm honest, I got kind of stitched up because I wasn't told what it was. So I got into doing one, and it spiraled now. So I've probably done 8 or 9.
Amazing.
But
in the last 6 months?
Yeah.
Amazing. Is that all based around mental health and silence around mental talk?
Mate, every single time, mental health in construction to a variety of audiences. So I've spoken, to the extent I've spoken to like the Dulux leadership team. I've given them a talk on mental health in construction, like some of the directors of Dulux. I've spoken to audiences at events, just mental health events outside of construction, which is quite nice to raise, the issue and let people know that construction is struggling as much as it is. I've spoken at trade shows. I've done talks there. So it's been it's been a good string to add to the bow, mate. I want to lean into that a bit more, if I'm honest.
Amazing. I love the way you said you couldn't even do a speech at your own wedding.
Nah.
Obviously, I fell into talking 18 months ago.
Okay.
And at school, about 2 years at school, I was one of the ones that when you used to read a paragraph out, and it would come to me, and I'd be shitting myself, and I've got a stutter, so when I get worked up, I stutter.
Okay.
And it'd be really bad. And this is me at like 13, 14, and it was my brother that said, he rang me. I was sales at Volkswagen, so I worked for Volkswagen for 15 years, very good at what I did. And my brother rang me, he was in construction, is health and safety. And he rang me, he went, I've got you a job. And I went, I've got a fucking job. And he went, no, I've got you a proper job. You know your story that you help people with? I want you to come and do a talk on my site. I was like, really? He went, yeah, did it. And I just did it for him. I didn't get paid or anything. I just went, yeah, I'll come and do that. I'll take a day off work, come and do it. So me and the wife went down, and the feedback after the first talk blew my mind and my brother's, and I just thought, this is the way. But this is the guy that couldn't speak in front of 15 school kids, and I was speaking to 150, 200 people, produced himself all over social media, but it's not. People think, well, he only gets up and talks. It's not fucking easy,
mate. It's absolutely
easy.
Terrifying. It's terrifying. It was. About 5 years ago, mate, I made a promise to myself that if something made me feel uncomfortable, an opportunity, should I say, because not everything, but if an opportunity made me feel uncomfortable, I had to say yes. And that was it. So the public speaking thing, it was like, I really don't want to do this, but I've got to say yes. It was a former guest of the podcast, actually, the first time I did any public speaking. And he'd travelled up from London to come on the podcast. And he said to me, look, I've got this small event where I want to get a few people together. Will you come down and just talk to people about why you set up the podcast? So, yeah, okay. And when I went down, it was like a sold-out auditorium in London. And I'm like, I've walked in. Mate, it was like, Gladiator, where you're at the bottom and the seats all go up.
Yeah.
It was like that. And I'm looking around like, you are taking the piss. And I was sat there, mate, and I kid you not, I sat on the front row because I was like, I can't sit anywhere else because I can't look at all this lot. But I sat on the front row, and I must have looked at the exit 50 times, where I just thought, I could just leave. I can just leave. And it come round my time to talk, and I was probably as nervous as I've ever been.
Yeah.
Got up, but to be honest, after 5-10 minutes, and you can see that you're getting engagement, you're getting some, feedback, like facially or verbally from the audience. I was like, okay, I can do this. And it's just led on from there. But it's a great tool. It's great to try and connect with people, both inside, people that resonate with you, but also, like talking to the Dulux leadership team. They're, some great people, but, most of the time they're in an office, they're in the suits, and they're doing all the behind the scenes working. So to go in there and let them know how badly people are struggling in the trade and why they're struggling, they found it really eye-opening, and it's a privilege to be able to do that.
Amazing that you've just said that about the Dulux leadership team. See, I nearly stuttered then, you see. It still comes back to me now, it still comes back. I totally agree with what you said. I 100% thinks it starts from the top and comes down. I've spoke to loads of CEOs and on LinkedIn, and they email me back going, James, we don't have a mental health and an addiction problem. You're all right. Thanks for your services.
Yeah.
You're clueless. It's that I'm lucky enough to be introduced to one of those guys up there who has had his battles, and me and him connected, and we've just hit it off. And he's like, you need to be here, you need to be there, you need to be there, because he's making it happen. Mm-hmm. He's not like boots on the ground. He's up, and I think that's where it goes from. Because people like that, with the decision making to say yes at all sorts of things, have the powers that be to go, no, you need him, he needs to go over there. I mean, we've done talks all over Germany in the last couple of months. There's more talks abroad coming up, and all this was on a whim. It was all on a whim. No way did I think it was gonna, and it's like yourself, it was a little hobby, and now it's.
Yeah.
I mean, just even for me to look at the sign behind you, I'm just thinking, it must feel. I mean, I don't know you, Russ, and to look at that, and I think, fuck it, you're changing lives, brother. Changing lives.
It's been
and you
crazy.
don't even realise how many you're changing.
No, it's when I started the podcast, it was literally a little passion project. It was off the back of a throwaway comment to my wife. She pushed me along and was like, yeah, you got to do it. I started recording, mate, in a tiny little office with a 4K webcam and some cheap mics. And like 2 years down the line, I've got a high street studio, professional grade equipment. But the amount of people I'm reaching, like the podcast, I get notifications when it hits the charts, and
Right.
it's mad. Like, it's made the top 250 podcasts worldwide. Last week it was in the top 100 podcasts in New Zealand. Like, I don't even know why or how this happens, but it just pops up in random charts. It's listened to in something like 78, or it might be more than that now, countries across the world. Yeah, it's mad. It's all gone crazy. And the amount of people that it reaches, that's the beauty of it, mate. You get to plant seeds of which you'll never get to see the tree grow, but they're planted, you know?
Yeah.
So it's a privilege, mate. I'll keep saying that because I've had I think I'm about 145 episodes in now, and I've spoken to some incredible people. And they trust me with their story. So yeah. I see it as a privilege, and I see it as I'm providing the platform for them to come and tell their story, and that story then goes on to help others. So yeah, it's been a beautiful journey, mate. It was never expected to get to where it's got to, but again, as I say, I still feel that it's got a long way to go.
Yeah. With you saying at the beginning about it's just the beginning, and with you what you've just said there about planting seeds that will never know grow. JT Motiv hit 6 years yesterday. So I started JT Motiv on a whim, just in lockdown, just to help people with motivation and addiction. And I've never give up with it. I've had peaks and troughs where I've not done much with it, and then I've done loads with it, but it's now taking a new route.
Yeah.
And I put on yesterday, 6 years JT Motiv, and the amount of comments and phone calls and texts, but 2 ring out straight away. One lad today put, I bet you can't even fathom how many people you've helped over those 6 years. And we, us is what we can't. We can't at all. You see, a lot of my watchers, and maybe yours, I don't know, are silent watchers. They never like, they never comment, they never do anything.
Yeah.
Because if their name comes up on my thing, say they like and comment, people will then know that they may have a problem or they may have an issue. So they're just silent watchers.
Yeah.
But then after 12 months, I'll get a private inbox going. You don't know what you've done. I've now got my family back. I've given up drugs for 12 months. I've got a job and I've got a baby on the way. And I've never spoke to him, but it's just the videos are put out.
What can be more important than that, though?
Say again.
Yeah. What can be more important than that?
Can't.
No, if you get to do a job in life, whether that's the public speaking, whether that's podcasting, whatever it is, and your job can coincide with helping people, to me, like, you've won. That's a cheat code, isn't it?
Hugely. I'm a massive believer in. Obviously, we've been through. I say we. I'm presuming you have been through our struggles. Which has then jolted us into learning more about what we struggle with and how we've come out the other side.
100%, mate.
100%.
Prior to, like I said, I went through a divorce at 31, but if you'd have met me before that and said to me, Russ, what do you think about mental health, or how is your mental health? My response, mate, would have been, haven't got it. Ain't got it, mate. That was it. I didn't understand it in the slightest, mate. So I confused mental health with mental illness. I thought that mental health meant that you needed to be put in a padded room.
Yeah.
That was my understanding of it. To me now, mental health is life, as in life is mental health. Like, whatever you go through on a day-to-day basis, whether that's stress, whether that's anger, fear, anxiety, happiness, there's positive mental health as well as negative. It's all got to be reframed the way that people look at it. Like, everyone on this planet has mental health. It might be that your mental health is in a fantastic place, therefore you don't pay any attention to it. Just like James, do you notice right now that you've got a left arm? No, of course you don't. It's just there.
Yeah.
If you broke it, you'd notice it.
Oh yeah, of
If
course.
if you had a broken left arm right now, you would know all about it. That's the same as mental health. It's there, and if it breaks, you will know about it.
Yeah.
But it's there. Unfortunately, again, it comes down to knowledge and education for me, because there's still a lot of people, a lot of men in particular, that will go around going, "Yeah, I ain't got it." Like, no,
Loads.
you've got it. You just might be okay right now.
Yeah. Loads. I'm gonna ask you, and listen, you can do this in a quite a vague way. If it's it, what can the viewers look forward to in Russ's Talking Tradesman future? What's coming? What's new? If you can share, you don't have to be vague.
I don't need to be vague, mate, to be fair. I guess more of the same. I'm determined to reach more people, James. So it's just continuing to have fantastic guests on. Obviously, I've just relaunched the website. That was only last week, so that's very fresh. I'm leaning into events at the moment as well. So I'm putting events on because, again, I think one of the problems in the trades is that a lot of us work on our own for a long period of time. So bringing that action out again is like, well, I'll bring people together then. So I've got an event in the summer. I've got a boat party. I've rented out a big river boat. So I'm putting on a boat party for anyone not even associated to the podcast. Like, anyone can come. But I've got a lot of former guests, a lot of listeners that have bought tickets. So I put on a Christmas party just gone in December because, again, like you see the meme every year, don't you? The self-employed Christmas party, the bloke stood at the bar on his own.
Stood at the bar on his own, And
I thought, well, sod that. Well, I'll change that. So I put on a Christmas party for all the people that don't have a Christmas party. Went down fantastically, mate. The feedback was insane. So we've got a summer event. We'll do another Christmas party. So I guess those are the things, really, is bringing more speaking, hopefully, more events, more guests, and trying to help people through the website. So yeah, it's just more action as well as awareness.
Love that. Who's if you had to pick one person that inspires you the most, who would it be?
Inspires me the most. Previously, mate, it would have been my grandfather. Right, so he set up my business. I'm a painter and decorator by trade.
Yeah,
been in business 25 years myself. He started the business back in the 60s. He was my biggest inspiration. Sadly, he's passed. So in terms of these days, probably my wife. I wouldn't be doing the podcast. I wouldn't be doing a lot of things in life if it wasn't for her, because she pushes me and tells me to do everything, you know. So yeah,
that's a great wife. That's a great
wife. It is. I've got to give her credit.
I had a feeling you were going to. I thought he's going to say, I'm going to ask him the question, but I know the answer, because loads of people go, "Oh, it's Tony Robbins, or it's this and it's that." No, if you ask me who my number one fan is, my wife.
Yeah,
I would do half of what I'm doing now if it wasn't for my wife.
Oh, mate, 1,000,000%. I would go as far as saying I might be okay. I'd still be running my decorating business. I would not be doing the public speaking. I would not be doing the podcast. All of that stuff has been her pushing me. And you know those moments when you're at home and you're 100% yourself, you let your walls down, and you've got that one person that goes, "No, you can do that. Like, you'll be good at that. Give it a try. It don't matter if you fail. Like, I've got your back regardless." She's that person. So yeah.
Absolutely love that. What oh, by the way, you know, this event you're doing, this boat trip, don't forget to give me and Tim a couple of free tickets.
Mate, come on down, bro. Come on down.
Honestly, we'd love that.
It'll be a great party, mate. We've got food before, we've got private hire of a big riverboat for 3 hours. We've got a DJ on the deck, and an after party at a venue as well locally. So it's going to be it's going to go from 4 p.m. till about 1 a.m. It's going to be a hell of a day.
You know, when you're describing that, then you know what's coming to my mind?
Yeah, go on.
And it shouldn't, but it does. The Wolf of Wall Street. It's going to be.
Mate, I can neither confirm or deny.
It's going to be that sort of boat party.
You never know, mate. Well, the headline sponsor of the boat party is CT1, and they do love a party.
back in the day, 15. I'm 16 years sober in August, so before 16, I would have loved anything like that.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it, but not today. I'm in bed for 9 o'clock, me, Russ.
In fairness, mate, there's a fair few people come in that are sober. It's a great networking opportunity. It's just a case of bringing people together to have a good day and a good night, bit of music, good company. It's just bringing people together, mate.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. Going, you said before about your podcast in 78 countries and it got in the top 250 and all that. What just for the viewers so they can get a fathom of the scale of what you're doing. It's not just a backstreet podcast in a little room. What sort of views are you getting on average?
Oh, mate, it varies massively. It varies massively on episodes. I wish I could work it out, James, because some episodes what I tend to find, because we publish, I don't know about you guys, we publish on all platforms. So it goes out on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, Audible, and it tends to take off on one platform, but not consistently. So it'll I'll put an episode out 24 hours ago, it's flying on YouTube, but the Spotify figures are down. And then the next one will go out and it'll boom on Spotify and not on YouTube. Figures wise, anywhere, I don't know, maybe 3,000 to 5,000 downloads during the course of the first couple of weeks.
Amazing. Every single one, that 3,000 to 5,000 people changing.
They vary, mate. Yeah, I mean, some episodes more, some episodes less. That's on average. But the great thing with a podcast, to me, it's like publishing a book. So once it's out there, it's out there. Yeah. I've had episodes that have maybe, not performed as well in the short term. And then all of a sudden, 6 months down the line, there'll be a trending topic. Like I've had people such as, say, personal nutrition experts. Yeah. There'll be something trending in the press about nutrition or a particular nutrition. All of a sudden, then that episode takes off again. So they're always there, For anyone listening, though, for podcast figures, because somebody will be going, 3,000 to 5,000? That's nothing. It's nothing for social media when you're talking about clips. I mean, the clips, you're in your 500,000, 1 million, whatever it might be, then it's doing well. Yeah. For a podcast, I'm pretty sure that the figures are something like, if a podcast does about 400 to 450 downloads in its first week, it puts it in the top. I'm sure it's the top 10% worldwide.
Wow.
Or something like that.
Incredible.
So for the last 2 years consecutively, the podcast has been in the top 5% of video podcasts on Spotify.
It's incredible. Speaking of social media, what platforms are you on so the listeners can follow you and
appreciate it, mate. We're on all of them. So every single platform. In fact, the only one we're not on is X. So if you type in the Talking Tradesman, you'll find us on Instagram, Facebook. Where TikTok. Else is it? I'm on LinkedIn. Yeah, TikTok. We're on TikTok. The only one that I'm not on, as I say, is X. Yeah.
So everything else you're on, and your name is the Talking Tradesman. That's all you are, Talking Tradesman.
Yeah. Just type in the Talking Tradesman, and you will find me.
See, this is the thing about what you said before about putting people to the right direction. You see, people might have joined this episode and thought, I'll watch the Built for Us. It might not be us that touch their hearts. It might be you now. They might have watched a couple of ours before and it's different people. So it's like...
Yeah, mate, it's always about... Yeah, my podcast is the same, mate. It's not about me. It's about the guest.
Yeah.
I try... Where I can, I try to talk as little as possible. I provide the platform for the guest, and I see myself as like the conductor of the conversation. So I just guide it. But the information and the value is coming from the guests. So that's the beauty of it, mate. Like I speak to a massive variety of people, whether it's tradespeople, sports people, ex-armed forces, medical professionals, absolutely all sorts. Really. My guests have got really varied over the last probably year. It started in the trades, and there's somebody said to me once, it was like, so your podcast was built in the trades and now it's for everyone. I was like, I love that. That's exactly it.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Well, listen, we could go on longer and longer and longer. Got a few minutes left. Give me give me just summarize. Just give me one last message for the viewers. If just say the teetering and they're thinking, I really need help, but I'm afraid, or whatever they've got going on. Using your experience, just what's the one thing that you would advise them to do to get the help?
Speak out, right? So I know what it's like, right? I'm a bloke myself, and I know a lot of people, it's the fear of judgment. Some people fear being judged as being weak for being vulnerable. It takes incredible strength to be vulnerable. But if you're concerned that your own immediate circle of people, you don't want to open up to them, there are loads of places where you can open up anonymously. I mean, Samaritan's great service, completely anonymous. You don't have to be suicidal to use the service. It's a crisis service. But the volunteers there, not only are they fantastically trained, it's completely anonymous. So when you ring, they haven't got your number, your location, nothing. You can just have a conversation with another human and let them know what's going on. And a lot of the time, mate, that's a great start point. So get some impartial advice, and just talk to someone. If you've got people close to you and around you, fantastic, speak to them. If you haven't, there are some incredible organizations, and as we mentioned earlier, you don't know where to turn. There's a comprehensive guide and list of those resources now on the Talking Tradesman website. It's really easy to find. Again, it is literally www.thetalkingtradesman.co.uk. There's loads of links, there's apps, direct links to all the apps, mental health apps, all sorts. But if anyone's struggling, my honest advice is talk to somebody. Just often that offloading, just talking through your problems, 9 times out of 10, that's enough to actually put you in a better headspace to then proactively deal with what's going on. But just unpack it, because the longer you hold it in your head, the worse it feels, and it just mounts, and that pressure, that weight will get heavier and heavier and heavier. Exactly the same as if you were to hold a physical weight. The longer you hold it, the heavier it gets. It's the same with your thoughts and your emotions. So by talking, you're putting that weight down for a little bit, and that sometimes just gives you enough relief to step back a bit and go, right, okay, I'm struggling with this, and this is what I'm going to do.
Absolutely incredible. Just absolutely blow me away, Russ. Honestly, thank you so much for giving us your time and coming on.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate you lending me your audience to, lean into spreading the message that I'm trying to spread. So no, the thanks are all mine. Really appreciate it.
Bless you. You're absolutely very welcome. So that concludes another amazing episode for Built for Us podcast by construction workers for construction workers. Thanks again to my guest, Russ Payne, Talking Tradesman. You've got to have some takeaways from that episode. Listen, all powered by JT Motiv. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks again, Russ.
Thank you, mate.